So we have an exciting episode this week because we have a new co-host kind of joining. Not that you have to, commit to a certain amount of dates. But I'm here with Erin Ashley, and if you want to look her up on Bookstagram or Instagram, she's Bella Metaphor, which is also in the show notes. But I think we got connected through We Don't Talk About Carol. Is that how we yeah. So we got connected through that, and then we've just been talking off and on since. I think we have some similar, I almost said music taste, which maybe that's true too. Some similar taste in books. So I'm super excited to talk with you, Erin.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So I'm always interested in people's reading journeys because I definitely read a lot, like as a kid. But like I think I really started reading like around 19, like in my 20s. So what has like reading been like for you?
Yes. So I would say I've been reading, like, you know how people, when they're singers, are like, I've been singing my whole life, but
Yeah.
I think I've been reading my whole life.
Yeah.
So I'm an only child. So I think that's like one of the ways I found like my friends and my peers and stuff like that. I also was like a kid who did hooked on phonics.
Oh
So
yeah.
I really liked words. So finding ways to like read about them and incorporate them in other stuff was something that my mom did. Um,
Mm.
so like growing up, I would do like book reports for things just with my mom, kind of
Oh,
like
that's cool.
going through stuff. And then also where I'm from in Oakland, we used to have a lot of like libraries where they would have book competitions for kids. And I will say I'm kind of competitive. So um, I would do a lot of those competitions where I would win like a personal pizza for how much I would read,
Yes.
which has kind of kept me reading. So I've been reading basically probably like since I've been like 4 or 5.
Yeah. Same. I loved those personal pan pizzas. Like there's like nothing better than getting rewarded for reading with pizzas.
Yes, exactly. And it's really weird that that was an incentive because they're technically super cheap, but
Yeah. You're like, whatever, this works for me.
yes.
I always loved it. Have you always, or like what genres do you read now? And did that like evolve at all? Like, was there a time like I didn't used to read historical fiction and now I do in certain ways. So, did your reading genres develop at all?
Yeah, I would say when I first was reading, it was a lot of like Goosebumps,
Mm.
Babysitter's Club. I think as I grew up, I also went through like a really weird phase. Well, it's not weird, but it's like that smut phase. So like,
Yeah.
I was reading like a lot of Zane books, which are very technically inappropriate for um, like a middle school student, but
Yeah.
I would read those. And I think as I grew older, I started reading like a lot of music memoirs.
Oh, that's cool.
Hmm. And then I always have read fiction. I feel like I kind of ebb and flow with fiction. So this year I made a conscious effort to like read more fiction because I
Yeah.
think I'm always reading a lot of like music books about like different musicians. So it's kind of ebbed and flowed. I think also this year I've been reading a lot of historical fiction, which is not something that I was reading in the past either.
Same. I really surprised myself with that one because, like, that was what I was like, oh, no, never. But for me this year, it was a lot related to audiobooks. So I didn't used to be able to, like, listen to audiobooks. It just didn't work for me in fiction. And then that shifted for me, I think, around March of this year. And so then that kind of opened me back up to a lot more genres. What it kind of happened with like my podcast was I really only read thrillers when I started it like 4 years ago. And so I was kind of in the vein of just like a lot of NetGalley books that were thriller authors kind of like pitching themselves for the podcast as well.
Mhm.
And so then once I got into audiobooks, it was like I all of a sudden remembered that there were so many backlist books and
Yeah.
like NetGalley wasn't the only place to read from. So, but historical fiction was the one that shocked me the most because I was like, I'm never going to get into that. But now, like social horror,
Hmm.
well, I just reviewed The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones.
Mhm.
And like the last sentence of my review is like, this is what social slash historical horror was made for. So it is like, typically that's the kind of historical fiction I'm leaning toward, but it's not always horror either. But I never thought I would be reading this much historical fiction, but it's
Well,
fun.
I was gonna ask, like, what type of historical fiction were you reading the most? Because I feel like mine is basically like I feel like I read a lot of historical fiction like around like the Harlem Renaissance or like specific
Mm-hmm.
eras like that. But like, is yours all over?
Uh, so lately, yeah, I would say like Do What Godmother Says, I really enjoyed from L.S. Stratton, which is like Harlem Renaissance time as well. Um, but some of it like Buffalo Hunter Hunter has like a really long span of time because I don't think this isn't a spoiler to say it's about a Native American who is basically turned into a vampire by white settlers. So like his lifespan spans so much time. So that one's like it ends in like the 1900s when so there's like two POVs for most of it. It's sometime in the early 1900s he's talking to this priest and confessing like what his life has been like. So it reaches into 1920. I can't really remember if it even said like how far back in time it goes. But The Reformatory, I really, really, really love is by Tananarive Due, and that's the 60s. I feel like I am kind of around the 60s kind of often. But then also like Junie, I think we may have talked about it. Oh, still one of my favorite audiobooks I've ever listened to as well.
I still haven't read it yet.
Yeah, and that one's like 1860s, so it is kind of everywhere.
Okay. No, I think that's next on my list. Like I keep seeing
Oh,
it, it's really sitting right there, so I need to
yeah.
actually read it.
Oh my gosh. I really loved it, and without giving anything away, like the author even she has some really good TikToks where she like explains what it is, but she considers it like a southern gothic historical horror basically.
Okay.
But again, without wanting to spoil anything, if you are a bookish person, there are just some fun bookish elements in it too. Like the main, like Junie loves to read, basically, is where I'm
Okay.
coming from. So there are a lot of those elements that I love about like reading loving characters in that book too.
No, I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
also always interested by like the amount of audiobooks that you listen to,
Yeah.
especially because I feel like with audiobooks, I'm always sticking with nonfiction. Like I did just listen to one which was Slanting at the Sea, and
Mm-hmm.
that was not nonfiction, that's fiction. But I want to start reading more or like listening to more fiction. I
Mm-hmm.
just haven't actually tried it yet.
Yeah. Well, Junie's narrator is, I think this is my favorite narrator of all time, is Angel Peen. Like, I just love her voice. You're like, Angel's calling. I love her voice, and I actually just finished I was reading and listening to Boomtown by Nick Stone, and she's one of the POVs in there, and I didn't know, and I was like, oh my gosh! So I feel like it is a lot about the narrator, especially with fiction. I think sometimes with nonfiction, if I'm just like getting information,
Yeah.
I'm not as picky, but I love her voice so much. So some of it is like figuring out which kind of narrators you enjoy, but I also just never thought it was going to happen. And it was S.A. Cosby. My friend Steph loves his narrator, Adam. I can't remember. He has two last names. Something, and then, oh my gosh, I'm just going to look it up. I could just cut this out. S.A. Cosby narrator, Adam. Okay, Adam Lazar White. So that
Okay.
was the first fiction I listened to because so many people talk about how wonderful his voice is, and they were right. So,
Oh, okay.
especially like when you're first starting, it's kind of like make sure you like find a narrator that like you're like I could listen to this person forever, and then it makes it a little bit easier.
Okay. No, I will because I also have been wanting to get into S.A. Cosby books.
Yeah.
So I have Razorblade Tears on Libby right now to read.
Yeah.
But it probably would be good to actually listen to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh I think King of Ashes was the first one that I listened to.
Okay.
So good. Oh,
Really?
that book is so dark though. Like all of his books are dark, but
Right.
I think King of Ashes and All the Sinners Bleed were like extra dark, at least
Well,
in my opinion.
and isn't All the Sinners Bleed getting made into something, or is that?
Yes,
Oh, okay. I was
all of
like,
his books have been optioned.
wow.
And well, I think sorry, I don't know if my something prayer. I don't know if his first one is, but I know
Okay.
All the Sinners Bleed, Razor Blade Tears, King of Ashes have all been optioned. So
Wow.
yeah, he has multiple, but I think you're right. I think All the Sinners Bleed is actually about to go into production, so it's like a little further along than the other ones. But oh, those
No,
are going to be great.
no, I'm
Have to.
excited to read.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite? Like, is there a genre that you're like pretty much no matter what, I always like go towards this? It might be your music memoirs.
Yeah, I would say my music memoirs because I feel like whenever I say memoirs, it always sounds really weird.
Oh, no.
Yes, I think it would be that because I feel like um because I am so into music, so like I was a music journalist for like 9 years, 8 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm always like interviewing people around music and like always trying
Nice.
to find like the liner notes or like interesting things. So I think reading about some of the musicians that may not be the musicians that I listen to all the time, but kind of like learning about their life and their interesting stories. Like Marvin Gaye is probably my favorite one to read
Mhm.
about because he's very interesting.
Yeah,
Um, but I think that's where I always end up going. But yeah, I would say that actually.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It tends to be some kind of thriller or horror at this point. Like horror, it was kind of funny. Like almost a year ago now, I read John Fram's No Road Home,
Okay.
and it's like kind of it is gothic horror for the most part, and I was like, oh, that was a lot of fun. And so there's some episode of me even saying like, I think I might get into horror more this year, and then like I've read so much horror in the last year, so kind of like when it's more social or psychological horror is what I basically started to learn. I was like, oh, that stuff's really interesting when you're using like kind of like horror as a metaphor to talk
Mhm.
about things that are happening. I'm kind of a baby about body horror, so that one I don't go as close to, but I'm kind of like finding my niche with it.
Yeah. No, I need a list from you because I want to get more
Yeah.
into that. Like one thing I also have been trying to get into is like romance, and
Mm,
those are a little weird for me. But
I know it hasn't happened for me yet so far, so I don't have any recommendations there.
no, I feel like you
Yeah,
always know what to expect. Like I do like
yeah.
Kennedy Ryan books,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I think that's probably
Covers
as
are
far as
so
I would go.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Love those covers.
same.
Maybe I should try one of hers sometime.
I mean, yeah, if you read the Skyland
Mm-hmm.
series, so there's I feel like I always get this wrong, but before I let
Uh-huh.
go, that was good. And then the last one was It Could Be Us. I feel like this is wrong
Oh, I
too.
didn't realize it was a trilogy.
Yeah, and it's like the thing that's nice about it is you don't have to read them in order because all the
Oh,
characters are in the same books. So like
okay.
you meet one a little bit differently, but those are good. The only one I didn't really like as much was the second one,
Mm.
which is Soledad's story, and I found her to kind of be boring, but the last one I really loved, and the first one I loved too.
Okay. That's good to know.
Mhm.
I'm probably going to add them. It's
Yeah.
nice to try things with audio too, because sometimes it's a little easier to try stuff, just like listen while you're cleaning and be like, okay, all right, well, maybe this is working for me.
Well, like the last book I read is kind of romancy. It's called, I feel like I need to look it up. It's called Slanting at the Sea.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
It's her name is or Slanting Towards the Sea, and her name is Lidja. I want
Okay.
to and it's like a really pretty cover. It's the lady at the sea with the bun.
Yes.
That's kind of romancy. It's like romance, grief, loss. It's like a lot of themes within the book.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that's probably as much romance as I really like because it
Yeah.
wasn't predictable.
Right. Yeah, I'm always like, if it's like 10% of a subplot, like that doesn't tend to bother me, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't normally hold my attention if it's all romance. Like, I
Because you
just
know
can't.
what to expect.
Yeah, I think that's it too. Like, oh my gosh, like all the people that like complain about like the miscommunication trope, I'm like, that I could, no, like that would infuriate me too. Or the like, oh no, I'm pregnant and didn't want to be. It's just,
Yes, I agree. But there's another good one, and you may like it,
uh-huh.
maybe. It's still technically romance, but it's romance and music. So
Ooh,
that's why it was good. It's called Deep Cuts, and it's by Holly
yes.
Brickley. That was good, and that's romancy, but
Okay.
I really love that book.
Yeah, I remember because this cover is so cool. I
Hmm.
remember thinking I might like it. And I don't think it's related to, I don't think there's romance, but Hot Wax by ML Rio. I've been
Yeah,
seeing that everywhere too. And I'm like,
I think you would like that. I haven't read it, but it has, I think, like a horror component to it,
yeah.
and the cover
And it's
is
just
really cool.
related to, yeah, it's like the 80s
Hmm.
and 1989. Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by that one too. But we'll see. Um, Man, I thought of something else when you were talking about that. Oh, are you still a music journalist? Like, do you still write that way?
For pretend, like I read, um, I have my newsletter, so I try to find a way to incorporate them both because
Yeah.
I feel like music is like I feel like they're kind of my first loves, like both of
Mm,
them equally. So I try to find a way to like weave them together, whether it's talking about like a book in a playlist or
mhm,
talking about an album that I really liked and how there's some like thoughts of different characters from books I've read. So I
mm,
try to do both.
yeah.
Yeah, I do miss it in a way, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, it sounds fun. I mean, I'm sure like all kinds of jobs, there's parts of it where you're like, oh boy, but at least sounds interesting for the most
Yeah.
part.
I feel like so I used to go to a lot of concerts, so
Hmm.
I would go to a concert maybe like 3 times a week. I was like
Oh, nice.
concerts were my movies, like
Yeah.
you. Um, but I think when I started working full time
Mm,
and then also getting older, I think I kind of like aged out of going all the time.
yeah.
Um, so I just kind of fell by the wayside. I started blogging and then
Mm.
I stopped doing that too.
You're like, this is just it's just what's happening right now.
I feel like it's like the Libra because I feel like we have so
Yeah.
many great skills that it's
Yeah.
hard to balance everything that we could do.
Yes. We did discover we're both Libras and have birthdays like 3 days apart. So
Hey, Libra.
it makes sense that we found each other eventually.
Yeah.
So you have your Substack where you kind of do a podcast essentially, and we are doing like a pod swap right now, so everyone should go listen. What's the story behind that?
Yeah. So I think I was doing a lot of book recommendations, but also doing a lot of music recommendations. So
Mm,
I was like, let me find a way to kind of weave them together.
yeah.
So I started on MailChimp
Mm,
and I was doing that every week. And at first it was just like friends and people I worked with, and then my family obviously was subscribers. And
yeah.
then it ended up going like I ended up moving to Substack once Substack came together, just
Hmm.
because I think Substack is nice because of the community that you can cultivate.
Hmm.
And so then I've been on Substack, I think, for 3.5 years, maybe.
Oh, nice.
So I've been doing my newsletter pretty consistently for like 5 years, 6 months or something.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
yeah, and I think the thing that's nice also about Substack, aside from the community, is like, for one, it flows like social media. So
Mm,
I know some people love it and some people don't, but I
mhm.
do like, I work in social media, so I feel like it's very easy for me to like follow it.
Yeah,
Um, and then also they have like all those features. So like, you could do your podcast, you can do videos, you can
yeah,
do a lot of stuff through there. So I like that it's in one place.
yeah. I do like it. I just got right when I was like, I'm gonna start writing something every week. Then I ended up recording an audiobook, which ended up being just like what I was doing in my free time. But I want to get back to my Substack because I do want to write about
Nice.
like how stories help me make sense of life. Basically, was kind of going to be the theme for mine. And I do love all of the features, like you're saying, like there is like a very scrollable feed if you're on your phone, but then also you can definitely post any kind of media otherwise.
Yeah.
So I want to get more active on Substack too, because I do enjoy it. And it is fun finding people who you're like, ooh, I like reading the long form that you post. I feel like it appeals to bookish people too, because what I noticed, my husband and I, we work in social media as well.
Oh,
So I know, right? We're so used to like everyone being like short attention span, short attention span. And then when I kind of started focusing on my Bookstagram, I was like, oh, actually, though, like the bookish audience is an audience that still has a long form attention span, which is so nice because it's like sometimes I do just want to read like a bunch of someone's thoughts at once. So I do like it. I need to start posting more on there again.
well, yeah, because I feel like Olivia Mutner, that's not how you say your name. From
Bad on paper.
yes. So
Hmm.
like she does long form, but I think what's nice about hers too is that she'll do long form. So if you want to read it, you can. But if not,
Yeah,
she has like an audio component, so you could just read
smart.
it. And
Hmm.
then even like going to like Kristen with we don't talk about Carol.
Hmm.
Like I think what's so nice about her Substack is like as an author, she uses it as a space to kind of talk about like her creative process, how she got her
Hmm.
publisher, the day in the life, and stuff like that. And I follow so many different authors and readers too, and just kind of seeing like their tastes, their opinions. And I will actually read their long form
Yeah.
versus other people's who I don't really care to
Yeah, you don't want to read everyone's
read.
full thoughts.
No, I do not, but I'll read theirs.
Yeah. I know I followed Kristen's here recently, but I need to start actually reading it. I need to start like getting the habit of opening the app is like the other
Yeah.
thing. Because I have a couple of friends where I'm like, when I get like the email that they posted, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go read it. But I need to like open it the way I open like threads.
Well, if you, I feel, I will say if you do it that way, you could be intimidated because there's so much stuff coming.
Yeah.
But it is good. Like if you just scroll through your people,
Yep.
and you already are podcasting, you're already on social, so you could
Mhm.
just bring what you're doing over too.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
I subscribe to yours.
Yeah, I know. I do. I should just have everything there as well. Like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
And I could, yeah, because you can also put transcript. Yeah, now you have me
Yeah.
thinking about everything. But yeah, it is fun. I really do. I do enjoy just reading think pieces or people's updates.
Yeah.
So now I need to go follow Olivia Munter on there too, or Minter. I think it's Minter is what someone told me a
I
couple
don't
days ago.
believe that.
I think that's what it is. I said Munter, so like I'm who
I think
knows?
it's the UE thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's like cuz it looks like Munster cheese to me.
Well, yes,
So
me
that's
too.
why I
That's
said
why I think I sounded out.
yeah. I just thought, and she has a new book coming out because she, for anyone who doesn't know who we're talking about, she has a podcast, Bad on Paper, but she also wrote Such a Bad Influence, which is like it's kind of like social media contemporary fiction. Um, and then I was just talking about this with someone, that new cover, the little one cover with all is so cute with the
Yeah.
like spider web over it. So I need to start listening to her podcast. I need to go subscribe. Actually, I off and on listen to it, but
Yeah. I
anytime
think
and once I got into audiobooks, it got harder to listen to every single podcast that I was listening to.
no, I can imagine. But it is cool when you are on Substack and then you start seeing like the people who you follow start doing stuff. Cause like her with her book I did read, and then I followed this other person. Her name is uh well, I can't recall, but her newsletter is called Morning Person,
Okay.
and she wrote a book, and her book is called. Well, I think I put myself on the spot.
It's okay. I couldn't think of Adam Lazar White's name. Morning Person Substack. Let's go there. Leslie
Oh
Stevens.
yes, 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 yes. And then she wrote this book, and it's like a I can't think of the name, but it's like silver, and it's a lady in on the cover.
You're safe here.
Oh yes, yes. And that was good, but
Let me
I
see.
also like she kind of talked about her journey with writing her book too. So it was cool to see from Substack to see how
Yeah.
see in the world.
I do love like the BTS, like when you're getting to see like how stuff is made. We
Mm-hmm.
actually kind of do that for some of our clients too. Like, oh, she has a pit mix. I just got distracted by the fact that Leslie Stevens' bio says she has a pit mix, and I have 2 pit mixes sitting behind me. Um, but it is cool just seeing how stuff is actually created, and sometimes then you're like more attached to the book, even
Yeah.
is what I've noticed.
Yeah,
Which
well,
makes
because
it
you're excited for them.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you have any like favorite books where you're like, I would always recommend these?
Oh yes. So my favorite book is called I'm Down, and it's a memoir by Mishna Wolf. And
Okay.
it's a really cool cover. It's like this girl with a big afro.
Nice.
Um,
Oh
and
yeah.
I did not know who she was. I just saw the cover and I was like, oh, I'm gonna read that book.
Yeah.
Um, I read that book probably I actually just reread it. So I probably read that book like 10 times. I feel
Wow.
like it's one of those books that I always go to and I always find something different
Mm.
because it's so funny. It's like a coming of age story.
Yeah.
And like, I guess the quick premise is
Mm-hmm.
she is white. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I said it like that, but she's white. So she grew up in a black area with her dad. So like
Okay.
her mom was with another man. So she, well, that's not really the story, but she didn't grow up with her mom. She like grew up with her dad and her
Okay.
younger sister. But her dad was like, he leaned more into the black side of stuff. So he taught her like how to stand up for herself and how to roast people. So like it's that kind of coming of age, but
Yes.
it's so funny. And like one of my favorite lines is there was this girl who used to bully her and she would always come to school with her hair like half braided.
Mm-hmm.
And when Mishna was, it's stupid. Whenever I think of this book, I think of that. When Mishna was learning how to cap, she told her, by the time your mom finishes your braids, Jesus will be coming back. But you can like read it in the context. So like that's my
Yes.
favorite book.
Oh, I love that. That's such a great story.
Mhm. And then let's see. I would also say uh there is like after the dance, it's about Marvin Gaye, but it's from
Mm.
his ex-wife. So it's Janice Gaye's book about her marriage and experience with him.
Uh-huh.
And even if you don't listen to his music, Marvin Gaye had like a very tragic death. Like his father murdered him. Um, but he also had like yeah.
Wow.
But he had like really weird things throughout his life. So like he was married to like one of Barry Gordy who started Motown. He was married to one of his sisters, I believe,
Oh
but
wow.
she was like very older than him. So he was like 25. I think she was like 50 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then he married Janice, who was actually young.
Oh.
But he was also like, she broke up with him for a period of time and started dating Teddy Pendergrass.
Okay.
Like Marvin Gaye was stalking them. So it was like, it was a very interesting story. And I think
Wow.
I've read 4 different books about him and it all kind of tracks.
Wow.
So it was
You got
interesting.
me very fascinated about this one.
Yes, please read it. I would like, please listen to it. I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. That's what I was just wondering. I'm sure there's, let's see, 2013. I bet there's an audiobook then for sure.
Hmm?
It's always fascinating from I mean either the wife's perspective or just the spouse's perspective in any case where you're like, what was it like to actually live with this person?
Yeah. So I would say those. I also love The Color of Water by James McBride is one of my favorites.
Uh-huh.
Um I feel like I went through like a period where I would say it would be like Paulo Coelho books, but I think I always go back to The Alchemist, but I wouldn't say that that's like my favorite. I think it's just
Mm-hmm.
something. And then one of my favorites used to be The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini,
Yeah.
and I loved that book. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really reread it as much, but I think if
No.
people were trying to like learn a little bit or also just have like a good story, even though it's not really the best story, but it is a good story.
Yeah,
Like
it's very emotional.
Like I always recommend that. And
Hmm.
then I would say, yeah, I would say that. Like I just recently read Maurice White from Earth, Wind and Fire, his memoir, which I
Oh, okay.
really loved only because I feel like Earth, Wind and Fire, like I don't listen to them. My family did, but I
Okay.
think even just knowing how iconic like the instrumentation is and how they tried to make so many different genres, I felt like that was really a good book too.
That is cool.
Hmm.
I am always fascinated. We got like so into biopics with or it was not that I'd never watched one before then, but Bohemian Rhapsody with
Oh, yeah.
Rami Malek. I couldn't think of his last name for the longest time, but that one was we saw it in theaters too, which is like really adds to the experience since it's such a like concert focused
Mhm.
movie. And we just like left that movie and we were like, wow, that was so good.
Mhm.
Now, obviously, you don't always end up learning facts when it's like inspired by,
Mhm.
but it was so good. And I was like, we need to see more music related ones, but
Mhm.
I don't know if we have since then. I don't know if many have like come out like in theaters. There haven't been a ton. There was Elvis, but
No.
we didn't go see the Austin Butler one.
No, and I'm like shaking my head like I was there with you.
It's okay. You're like, I believe you.
No, I feel like I would want to see that, but I also am interested because Priscilla Presley just wrote a book,
Yeah.
and I want to. I was, I went like on a book shopping spree for my birthday, which I probably should not have, but I was really tempted to buy that book. I just bought a whole bunch of other books, but
Yeah. I know. We saw the movie Priscilla.
mm,
And it's hard for me to say I recommend it because it was kind of I don't know. I think the pacing was a little bit mismatched in certain parts, like I guess is what I'm saying. Like the flow was eh. But on the flip side, I'm glad that we got like her perspective in general out there since obviously like it wasn't exactly the healthiest relationship that was
yeah.
happening. So it was yeah, it was kind of good, but I would be more interested, especially so memoirs were kind of my segue where like I used to maybe listen to like three or four nonfiction a year, but it would be like just like niche subjects that I got interested in that I wanted to know more about. And
Mhm.
then memoirs, that was again like my friend Steph was like, if you're trying to like maybe move into fiction audiobooks, she says she always recommends memoirs to people. And that what it is fun hearing someone, especially when they read them. Most of the
Yeah.
time they read them. But like when you're hearing someone literally tell their story, like it is so much more powerful than any like movie version of it is going to be. So I think I've like mostly now it's like memoirs is where I'm going if I do want to learn about someone. So I'm going to have to keep getting memoir recommendations from you.
Well, yeah, I think like one of my favorites that's an audiobook. I think it was actually the first audiobook I listened to.
Oh, nice.
Was because I was always like not listening to them because I don't know. I think I was in a real podcast thing.
Yeah,
Uh
same.
but it was Mariah Carey's. And
Oh, okay.
I'm not a lamb, so I'm not like a Mariah Carey stan like that, but
Yeah.
I think hers was so good because she was like singing some of the songs in her audiobook, so it
Oh,
made it easier for
wow.
me to follow. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm adding this one to my wish list too.
Yeah, and the
That sounds
stories
so
were
good.
really interesting. Like
Yeah.
I think her era with Derek
Is
Jeter.
this, it was that one Portrait of a Portrait?
No.
The Meaning of Mariah Carey? Is that maybe it?
Oh yes, it was that.
Okay. Looks like she's published multiple. Like, good for her. Pop off, girl. Only from Audible too.
Oh yes, the meaning of Mariah Carey. That was
Okay.
really good.
Yeah, so now I need to listen to that one too. I think I similarly am very fascinated by musicians too. Really anyone who actually wants mega fame, like I understand I'm saying
Mhm.
that as I am on my own podcast, but like mega fame doesn't does not interest me in any way, shape, or form. Like, I would love to, and I will, like turn Bookwild itself into a brand that like makes money for me, but like being mega famous, like, and not out of judgment, sounds so overwhelming, and I almost can't even wrap my head around wanting it. But I think that's why then like some of these stories get so fascinating to me. Like, same thing, I am not like a hardcore, I mean, I did like intensely learn a lot of things, but I'm not like a Swiftie. But like I got so fascinated when the Eras tour got so big and like the zeitgeist itself, where then I was like learning all this stuff about her. And I'm just like, I always come back to like, what made you want that much attention? Again, in most cases, not in a derogatory way, but it's like, I feel like the whole rock star thing, which I think is why Bohemian Rhapsody was so fascinating to me, as well as like the people who are like, I am gonna like spill my feelings into a song and share it with, like, that part I can't even imagine doing. I'm not like,
No.
so I don't emotionally gush that way either. So I'm always fascinated by the people who do, though, because it's just like it's so foreign to me. That's probably why it's so interesting for me.
Yeah, I could see that because really, I'm not gonna write a song about someone and make
Hmm.
them feel that special if they broke my heart. Uh,
Yeah,
but I do think that is the thing because I feel like those are the only books that I feel like I mean, not the only, but those are some of the
yeah,
books that I can read and don't feel myself like I don't feel aligned with anything that they're really talking about.
right. Yeah. Or I'm like, this is just a different life. And I'm just, I know there are introverted people who are mega famous, but for me, I'm just like, if I could just like have access to like talking to any author I'm interested in,
That would be nice.
that would be enough for me. I don't need to be like recognized everywhere I go. Like, that would just stress me out so much.
Well,
But
no,
obviously, some
you
people
saw
love it.
I didn't like that. Like I saw those videos of Beyonce. She's in Dubai, I think, but she had on the hijab, and
Hmm.
with her eyes covered, people knew it was her. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's nice to be famous, but I would also want like I need my own space, and I
Yeah.
would like to go to Target and not be ambushed.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Yeah,
Yeah.
Beyonce was getting into all of her lore because it was that summer that they were both touring so much, and like you couldn't ignore either. You couldn't ignore Eras or was that Renaissance? Yeah, that was Renaissance.
I would
Um,
read a book about that era. Like I feel
mhm.
like if someone wrote a book about like both of those tours and like the inner
Yeah,
workings of the tour, I think it would be really interesting.
and it was Barbie summer. There were just so many fascinating, like, there were more elevated female things happening.
Mhm.
It would be fun if someone would do that. There's speaking of nonfiction, there's one of my favorite books actually that I read in 2025. Like, it will be in I don't know, my top 20 or however many I have to choose at the end of the year, was Girl on Girl by Sophie Gilbert. And she basically, it's all about how pop culture turned women against each other in like the late 90s and the early 2000s. And I'm like, the way that she handled it, because she's also very neutral and also was intersectional about it. It was not just about white women. Um, I feel like she would be, I need to like message her and be like, we need you to write a book about the
Yeah,
summer of whatever that was, 2020, was that 2022 or 2023? I can't remember.
3, I think.
Yeah, I think 2023. But
Mhm.
I would totally read a book if she wrote it about
Yeah.
that.
No, how many books have you read this year?
105 at this point, I think
Oh
is
my
what I'm
god.
at. Now, my reading goal was 80. Like, I used to read about 70 without audiobooks, like in the whole year. And obviously, there's still a couple months left. So, audiobooks changed the game for me. I used
Mhm.
to be about 70. So, it was a big difference. But I also listened to like, I used to listen to like 8 or 9 podcasts, and now I listen to like two. So, that's what shifted.
Well, I guess okay, this is a question for you. So if you
Hmm.
read so many audiobooks, I think this is probably the reason why I don't like I've been listening to them more
Hmm.
lately as of like probably what is this month? Oh my god, that was so bad. It is still our
October.
month. I know. Ignore that question. Maybe like since March, I've been reading them a little bit more. So I've been trying
Mhm.
to do like one or two per month. But I
Yeah.
think one of the things that I always struggled with and why I think I was not listening to them initially is I felt like it had to be like the perfect time to read them. So if I was on a walk, or if I was like driving really far,
Mm-hmm.
or something, like, I guess for you, for one, well, two questions, like,
Mm-hmm.
how many are you reading per week? And then also, how, like, when do you find that you're listening to them most, or like, how do you make time to listen to them?
Yeah. So, uh, it depends. So I listened to The Good House last week and that was like 22 hours.
Wow.
So that was pretty much the only one I listened to last week. But if it's like a 7 to 12 hour one, I can normally get through 2 or 3 in a week. And so
Okay.
then what it depends on is like, so sometimes if I just like wake up, my dog's also my older girl dog, she all of a sudden just like does not want to stay asleep between like 1 and 4. So sometimes she's waking me up at 1 and 4 to just like walk around outside. But if I
Mhm.
can't get back to sleep at like 4, I will just kind of listen, which is nice because it's not like I'm scrolling
Yeah.
phone the whole time. Not that I don't. I definitely scroll, but so sometimes that's like a benefit is like if I can't get back to sleep, I'll just start listening. But then the big difference for me is like what I'm working on. So sometimes with the content that I'm editing, it doesn't require audio. Like either it's photos or it's just like kind of like going through B-roll of video, which is like not the talking part of a video for anyone who's like, what are you talking about? So it's like if I have a lot of that, like some days I could just listen the whole time that I am working, as long as it's not one where like you're having to keep track of a lot of specific details, like a really like mind bendy thriller that wouldn't probably work. But if I have a lot of that, like I could listen to like 5 hours of a book in one day. And then my dogs always need 2 walks a day. So that's like
Mhm.
20-ish minutes twice a day. And then it's like all the other boring stuff like laundry or cooking or
Mhm.
cleaning. So then it's like it really does come down to the week. Like there was a week where I was doing so much video editing that had audio, so it's like I was barely getting through anything.
Yeah.
It all depends.
No, I
I
love
have
that.
seen some people will do like puzzles because like someone else was asking me like how do you not get distracted? And there are times where I'm like, yeah, my brain just can't do two things at once right now. But some people have said doing puzzles while you listen like helps them like pay attention.
I can see that because it's like idle.
Yeah. So you're
Mhm.
not just like scrolling and then you're like,
Yeah.
wait, what just happened?
Exactly. No, I'm gonna try to listen to more.
hmm I it's not like I'm like against the podcast I was listening to previously. It just grabbed my attention for now, and right now I'm like, oh, this is cool that I can like listen to more stories and
Hmm.
nonfiction. Like once I get interested in a subject or I just feel like I need to know more about a subject, I do like that I can like find nonfiction and just have it read to me.
No, I'm gonna do that more because I do think I'm also gonna start finding like the narrators that I like and listen to
Yeah.
what they do, because I know like the narrator for Great Man, I can't remember his name.
Yes, he was great.
No, I loved his voice. Like, I,
Yes.
in my head, I was like, "Oh, he looks so cute."
I
So
know.
I'm thinking, so I'm gonna start finding the people who I like, and even like Dominion, like find
Yes.
the people whose voices I like, and kind of use that to kind
Mhm.
of guide what I'm reading to.
Dominion, for anyone who's listening, was such a good audiobook because
Hmm.
it's multicast, like, or full cast, like there's three
Yeah.
or four different narrators, I think. And so that always makes it even better. Like you really feel it's as close to it being a movie as you can get, really.
Mhm.
Since and yeah, it was just produced really well. So anyone who's like wanting to start on one that's like really engaging. That one was great. And Angel Peen is Diamond in that. She's one of the characters. So she's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Just
she was
listen
my
to her.
favorite listening to
Yeah.
that book.
She's just so good. Like I think, let's see, I've listened to her, I think in 4 books
Oh,
now
okay.
at this point. Since I'm listening to her in Boomtown right now, I think that's number 4. But I just love her. And it's funny now that like we were watching Abbott Elementary a couple nights ago, and like now I was like he's kind of like a side character who's on every now and then, but I was like, I need him to narrate audiobooks. And it was like, that was something I didn't even think about before. I'm going to look it up. Which episode was it that we were watching? Because I think it was two of them. There are two men where I was like, I also don't read tons of books where men are the main narrator, but it's not like I never do. But I was like, I need these people to start narrating. Let's see. It's the man who starts dating the principal.
Oh, that's my Abbott Elementary crush.
Okay. So we're both thinking of the same person. The way he talks to her, I'm like, can you read audiobooks, please?
If you read audiobooks, I would read them all. I would listen to every single one of them.
And then the other guy who is like, he's part of the district or whatever. He has like a Hispanic, some type accent, and I'm like, I love his voice too. Yeah,
I'm in line with them both.
Yeah, so now I'm watching other stuff or listening, and I'm like, I should tell this person needs to know that they would be a great audiobook narrator. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Who else would be interesting as a narrator?
I mean, I feel like Denzel would be really good at it as well.
Yeah.
I like listening to him. Aren't many women whose like voices necessarily stand out to me that I can think of.
I feel like depending on the type of book, but it would have to be something like funny-ish. I feel like Amy Poehler would be really cute as a narrator, but it would have to be something kind of like cheeky.
Yeah, because she's really good in Inside Out.
And then I also think Regina Hall could be interesting too.
Yes.
But again, it had to be something a little bit cheeky.
And honestly, like when I listened to Matriarch, I mean, Beyonce's voice is just amazing. Even just her speaking voice, because she does like part of the foreword, I think is what it was. It's one of the things that comes before the book, and she was in the foreword, and I was like, you could just narrate my life for me, and that would be great.
Yeah,
but Tina's voice is fantastic too. I loved listening to her read that one too. Such a good memoir.
I wish I would have listened to it because I read it, but I read it well, they're both reading, but I read it I read it on Kindle and I read it in print. So I was going back and forth between them both. I wish I would have added the audio component because I feel like people who listen to it, while we all enjoyed the book, I feel like people who listened to it came out with different things that I didn't get from the print version. So like I may go back and listen to it.
It is wild because like when it's people really talking about long periods of their lifetime, you like hear them cry a little bit or get choked up during certain parts. So it does just like it just hits so different when you're listening to it. And you can hear how they feel about certain people. But she also just has an amazing like Southern accent as well. So it's just pretty. She's just amazing too. Like her entire like how her life began to like where it is now. I'm just like, talk about like the amount of change that can happen in your own lifetime.
Well, not even just the change, like how resilient you could be with it. Because some of the stuff I was just like, oh my gosh, she's endured so much.
Yeah, because what I kept saying after I listened to that one that like really stood out to me was like she basically is born when there's still, I can't remember if Jim Crow is still active or if we're right outside of it.
Right outside.
I think it was right outside of it, but like her parents experienced living in the South that way. And like, it's pretty early on. I don't think it's much of a spoiler, but like her mom helped the churches that near where they lived, but they also couldn't even go to church. So to like have that be your childhood, to then being the mother of Beyonce and like going on stage with her and writing a memoir, I'm like, there's so much that can happen in your lifetime. But yes, to your point, she had to be very resilient to live through all of it.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's definitely one of my favorite memoirs for sure.
Same. And I think it's probably one of my favorite books from this year too.
Yeah, I think so too. I almost got a book trophy version of it I don't know, a couple of months ago, and now I'm like, why didn't I?
Yeah.
I will. I'll get one before the end of the year. It deserves to be up there.
Yes.
Well, I feel like everyone has a good feeling for what you like to read. And we have some new good recommendations. I do, at least. I definitely have some pulled up that I'll probably buy right after this. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun talking with you, and we'll have to see you again sometime.
Yes, please. Thank you again for having me.